Hi, everyone. This is Charles Hoskinson, your crypto fellow traveler, live from warm, sunny Colorado. Always warm, always sunny, sometimes Colorado. Although maybe at some point it'll be rough and rugged Wyoming that I get to do these at. You never know. Love Wyoming. Anyway, I figured I'd do a little bit of housekeeping before the weekend. Yay, housekeeping, weekend. Woo, wah. Okay, so just a few items. First off, we'd like to welcome the newest member to Ada Nation, Gene Simmons. He's a very famous rocker. Took me completely by surprise. Yesterday, I just had gotten home. I was going through some of my piles of things to do. In fact, I was ready for my second reading of Andrew Miller and Ara Jewell's wonderful paper on Candid. Yay, it's a wonderful thing about DIDs. Andrew, shout out to you. You're just such a great writer. I really enjoy his work. I always have. And actually, our company and our affiliates are one of the few people around who implement some of the things that Andrew writes. In fact, Ergo was one of the first projects to explore non outsourceable puzzles. Anyway, I look at my phone, it's lit up. Kiss is apparently on board and buying Cardano, buying ADA. I said, well, okay. I don't know whether to laugh or cry. This is fun. Anyway, it's a big event for us because they're incredible marketers. He has over 1 million followers, and Kiss is an incredibly strong brand. They even sell a Kiss coffin. So Gene is a brilliant guy and really a phenomenal businessman. And I'm glad to see that he's decided to wander into our tribe. Now, it seems like he's enamored with the price action and the prospects of appreciation in the marketplace. But, we have a way of converting people to care not so much about that and actually care a lot more about the mission and the vision. There were a few people on Reddit who said, well, this is a bad thing because we don't want people around who are in it for the money. The vast majority of people who usually start being in it for the money. But what happens is they have a conversion. They realize that there's more to it than just appreciation and returns. There's some magic there. And I have to admit, I'm quite enamored with the thought that some future funding round in Catalyst will have Gene sitting on, by his computer, thinking deeply about whether to vote yes or no on a proposal. And if other rock stars get on, I can see like a conference call about a particular ballot or vote. I mean, this is a weird fantasy, but it might actually happen. So if it does, I'll be a very happy guy. In any event, we're incredibly glad and happy if he's here permanently or just as a fair weather that he took the time to talk about our community. And it's a good event, all things around. And, I'd love to talk with his people at some point about non-fungible tokens, given that he sells so many collectibles and themed stuff and branded stuff. It makes a lot of sense to test out Mary using his things. And there's actually a lot of cool frameworks inside the ecosystem that we could very easily port over to Cardano, specifically for people who want to do all kinds of cool things, whether it be backstage passes or reductions in concert tickets whenever they get to play again, or to collectibles and so forth. So welcome aboard, Ada Nation. We love having you here. Just as a reminder, we never pay anybody for sponsorships or endorsements. So this one came as a complete surprise to us. And I don't think we'll ever pay anybody for a sponsorship or endorsement. People just come because they like us. We got a good mission, or they think that we're worth something. Either way, good to have them. Good to have them around. Another thing is there's some fake news floating around that we have some sort of deal with the Ministry of Peace in Ethiopia. As many of you know, we do have a office in Ethiopia. We do a lot of business there, and we are negotiating several significant deals in Africa, one of which is in Ethiopia. But that is not that news that's reported. So sorry, crypto media. You got it wrong yet again. And if we have something big to announce, either we're going to do it or we're going to do it with a big partner like Reuters and New York Times or something like that. You're not going to catch it. We appreciate the attempt at investigative journalism and getting the scoop, but no. No disruptions or anything like that. We're still in very, very deep negotiations, late stage, like change this sentence to this sentence. And there's a lot of PR discussions, and we're trying to figure out the best way of doing that. We will do some filming here in a little bit because I'd like to actually get people on camera and talk about deals that we're doing. And we got a lot in the pipeline. Now that Mary is out in 5 days, we should initiate the HFC. There's a lot of people that are going to start building things on the network. And also Catalyst is really starting to heat up, and there's a lot of conversion heating up. As I mentioned in March, we should be winnowing down that list of dev firms to start writing a lot of stuff on in Plutus to test out the infrastructure. How we're going to roll out Plutus is we're going to do it kind of like how we did Shelley, where we'll have Plutus pioneers, some internal, some external, and we'll have them beat the hell out of a private network, and then we'll roll it to a public beta, and then we'll roll that into the main net. But there's just a huge amount of usability things that we need to get sorted out that always come up with a new language. So we'll talk a lot about that in March. The Cardano 360 show here in February is going to be all about Mary, something about Mary. That girl is going to get a lot of attention. And basically, we're going to talk about everything from how do you issue your own token. We're going to invite people who are migrating over to Cardano to talk about that. And basically, what's going to happen with the native multi-asset standard, including how to pay transaction fees in the native asset itself. So our chief scientist is even going to do a presentation specifically on that. And I think everybody's going to enjoy it. I believe that episode is coming out on the 25th. So look for that. There's other things that are going on. I have some incredible meetings on my schedule that still are pretty surreal. And we're certainly talking to a lot of people. But again, those are early days on things. And as to manage expectations, a big Africa deal takes 3 to 7 years to do right from start to finish with all the dynamics, the PPP setup, the tendering process, and so forth. So a lot of these things that are starting to pop in Africa, we started in 2019 or 2018, some even longer. We started the Ethiopia stuff in 2017. Okay, so do understand the enormous time horizon on these things. So, there's a pipeline that's there. And, as the months come by, more things pop in that pipeline that we seeded years ago. Now, in the Fortune 500 suite, it depends on how you do it, but some of these things are looking quite nice. It's just we had to kind of ride out Corona. And now that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, a lot of things that were put on hold are starting to open up again. So you'll see some things there. But what gets me most excited are the Catalyst deal flow because there's just so much volume that's going to come through Catalyst. That was one of the birds for February, the launch of the fund. $1 million available, a goal of 10,000 people, Daedalus 3.3 having the capacity to register. Many people are already doing that. We expect a massive increase in participation. And what we're going to start doing is a lot of those deals that we have in our pipeline, which are not tenable for whatever commercial reason on our side, if we think they're viable for Catalyst, we're going to start fast tracking them, pushing them to there, and introducing them to you. So probably not this month in this fund, but for the next fund and the funds coming, there's going to be a big influx of more professionalized submissions that are a little larger, like larger than $100,000 and so forth. And there's going to be a whole organ within the commercial division and then some referral organs within Emergo and CF that push things in that direction, especially as we get closer to smart contracts. So look for that. A lot of cool stuff in March about Alonzo, which is the smart contract setup. And I will remind everybody who says we're a ghost chain, we're only behind Bitcoin in terms of economic activity. There's a lot of value that's transacted every day on the Cardano blockchain, and that's only picking up. So when smart contracts and native assets are here, it's going to be crazy. We'll probably peak Bitcoin in economic value transacted. It's just remarkable. And as many of you know, I did a video a little earlier today that Bitcoin reached $1 trillion in market cap. Hallelujah. Pretty amazing. Congratulations also to CZ and the Binance people. They're getting a lot of adoption with their chain. They're overloaded. People often ask me, what do I think of BNB? And I say it's what Ripple should have been. And I think the market now agrees. So it's good to see that they're enjoying their success and their time out in the sun. They've been working hard for a long time, and I'm glad that team is enjoying it. And of course, congratulations to the rest of the space that are really enjoying the bull run. These are the good times. I've been through a lot of winners, so I'm fully prepared and expecting another one at some point, especially for the DeFi space. But it's good to enjoy the sun a bit. So congratulations for the hard work and having some rewards for it. Try not to take it too seriously, though, because for whatever goes up must go down. Always remember that. All right. That's the housekeeping. Just a few things. I'll see you guys next week. Maybe do an AMA this weekend. And we can do another microfinance loan. We will really get aggressive in the second half of this year after Alonzo comes out about microfinance and peer-to-peer lending. After we get the stable coins and the dexes and the oracles and these things, that's a DApp I really, 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 really want to see. And I really want to be able to start giving out microfinance loans through a DEX and through a peer-to-peer lending platform. It'd be really nice to do that. And that's something that I hope before the end of the year we can figure out. We get some partnerships, and maybe we can even convince Kiva to do it. In fact, if any of you have direct connections into the Kiva organization or know the founders or these things, I'd love to enter into a dialogue with them about how do we cryptofy them and get them where they need to go. I think they're operating in a slightly older business model. It's a very good and elegant effort, but it's about time we move from charity land to profit land, because that'll encourage people to put a lot of money into it. For example, if we could get reasonable repayment rates on these loans, it would make a lot of sense for me to have my company's treasury management strategy to include $50 to $100 million worth of microfinance loans. It's not a huge part of the overall treasury, but it would be something that we could put into a high risk tranche as opposed to other things like junk bonds or something like that. And it has a huge humanitarian bent to it. So, if Kiva's model was able to be turned into a peer-to-peer model and able to get rid of middlemen, I think that would be tenable, especially if we could augment it with downside protection and sovereign guarantees and other such things. So it makes sense from a treasury management perspective. So, if you have any contacts with those guys, send them my way. I'd love to talk to them. If anything, just to get a deeper understanding of boots on the ground microfinance. We occasionally talk about it. And John O'Connor is very familiar with this because he runs into it every day. And there's some guys in Ice Addis, which is a partner of ours over in Africa, that know a lot about it. But me, I'm living on Muhammad Yunus data and like 2007 models and so forth. There's a lot of innovations in peer-to-peer lending and in microfinance. Of course, I learned a lot about that from Alex Mashinsky as well. He's a colorful guy, and I do enjoy talking to him. Anyway, always more to say, always more to do. Try to enjoy your weekend. For those of you down in Texas, stay warm. I had a brief moment where we ran out of propane and on the farm, and the event barn got real cold for about 2 days. And it really sucks when stuff shuts off. And I can super empathize with you. I've been there before. Family grew up in Montana, and they had some hard winters where it took a few weeks for power to come back. So that's real tough, especially if your state is not prepared for it. But I think things are going to get a little bit better. And it brings up a real broad point about resiliency. Plan for it, demand it. That's why we build our cryptocurrency the way that we do, because it's good not just in the summer times when everybody's happy, but we survived winter and we'll always survive winter. Until next time, everyone, stay warm, stay happy, and enjoy life. Cheers.